submitting things. I think since June to the People's Club, and so the last bit was pretty complete. So I just posted it on the California Facebook. But the Bayer property, I thought you might be interested in that. That was just a little extra fun. They had quite a write-up about it, and a lot of money and a lot of thought has gone into it about who can be there, how they want it, and they call it entitlement property. I loved that, entitlement property. So it's down there on the border, I guess, San Ysidro,
Yes.
next to Tijuana there. And they talk about how many people commute back and forth across the border, and, that it would be a really profitable setup for schools and homes and, a health center and, stores and all that kind of stuff. But I thought, yeah, that would be just so beautiful if we could get that, especially if we could get it the way they get properties from us for nothing. So, and then the other ones that I sent you were avocado orchard.
Back up a little bit. Just back up a little bit.
You want more on that?
I'm not sure if everybody understands what who you're talking about. This property that Debbie sent to me is owned by Bayer, and I think everybody knows who that is.
Yeah, I think it's literally on Bayer Street.
Rothschilds. It's on Bayer Street. It's right over the border. I mean, you could just imagine what they've had the plans to go into this property, and now it's up for sale. Like Thomas has been telling us, all of their assets are going up for sale. But I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Deb.
Okay. Yeah. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about it, or?
I just thought it was interesting, and we'll definitely keep that in the loop. Go ahead.
That was super fun. Yeah, that was super fun. So yeah, I hope we get to. I forget how many acres it is. I have it written down here. San Ysidro. Blah, blah, blah.
120 or something? It's a pretty good sized piece of property.
Yeah, I guess I didn't actually put that part. There we go. Bayer Boulevard. Shoot. It just, everything I have is on my phone. One of these days I have to get a laptop, and oftentimes it just disappears on me, which it just did. So
it's no problem.
Okay.
We'll definitely keep an eye on that. I'm here in San Diego, so I will definitely keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
It looked interesting. All I could think of was, go ahead.
Yeah, and then there were some beautiful couple of sets of acreage, one up in Julian and I forget what the other one was, Poway, I think, that were already set up with avocado orchards. And I do not remember the name of the lady who is so into the oils and changing out the oils at the restaurants, but I think that's absolutely brilliant. And so there are properties up for sale that already have, in San Diego there, that already have avocados orchards set up. And I'm looking at some properties in Livermore, thinking that would be a really great place to start an avocado orchard and help that movement along. So otherwise, I submitted things about maybe us doing something as a group with Dr. Joe Dispenza, or getting Robert von Sarbacher to work with us. I heard about Robert von Sarbacher on Tank's show, the Speak Project, and he was talking about beets and apples being this amazing age reversing situation, that beets just really eat up your scar tissue, and within months you look a lot younger. And I've been eating beets and apples for probably about 7 or 8 months now, almost every day. And my eyesight is getting better, absolutely. My teeth are getting whiter. My gums are growing back. I went to the dentist and, got my, the little, when they probe in there to see how much gum you're losing. And the hygienist was like, "What are you doing? I really want to know, what are you doing? Because your pockets are shrinking." And I know a lot of people, that have tried eating raw beets, and they're like, "Dude, I am allergic to them. They make me sick." Well, that's the thing. Beets are, and just like the most powerful destroying thing for your body, but with apples, it rebuilds your body. So if you eat raw beets every day, you'll kill yourself in about 3 months. You'll just disintegrate yourself. But if you eat apples with it, it changes the whole scenario.
I make a salad with the shredded raw beets with green apples, because the beets are sweet and the green apples sour, and you don't need to add anything. Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah, that is a really good way to do it. And he's got a lot of other things that I'm not quite so sure about, but I'm pretty convinced about the beets, and he's fascinating. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, he works closely with HeartMath here in Boulder Creek, and HeartMath has created equipment that helps you to see. So like the first thing they have you do is just breathe, kind of imagine that you're breathing in and out of your heart, peace and love. And they've been at this for, I meant to look, but at least since the 80s, learning so many amazing things about the heart. And they found out first of all the people that I know, that the heart has brain cells in it, neuron cells in it, and now we know that all the organs do. And there's a lot of amazing things about the heart. It's actually the first organ that gets created when when babies are being made. They start making the spinal cord and the heart, and the heart gets made before the brain gets made. And so there is a connection between the heart and the brain, but the heart comes first. And their big focus is, they call it heart coherence, that the heart is coherent. And as if you slow your brain waves down and you focus on staying in your heart, that it's like the PSI, it's the field that connects us all. And they've been, since this self-sheltering thing's been going on, they have been doing a meditation every night at 8 p.m., every morning at 4 a.m. and noon every day. And so I've been getting on there with them to be part of it and just practice, trying to have my heart coherent. And now Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's a doctor of neurology, and he's been putting all of this together, the physiology of the body and the energy cycles. He never calls them chakras, but the energy cycles, wheels in our bodies, and the pineal gland, and how to, once you get your heart right and your pineal gland right, your body will heal itself of everything and anything. And then you start having, you know, whatever kind of experiences you want to have besides living in this practical planet. You become more, and that's just something that eludes me still, and it would be a fine adventure for us, you know, if we, you know, anybody that wants to, and if they decide that's a cool thing to let us have as an experiment. So those are some couple of things that I submitted to the People's Club. And then otherwise, you know, there's so many people doing great things. One of my favorite models is that Foco Cafe. I think Estella put that on months ago, or maybe it was Bill. And I noticed on their website, I'm suspecting maybe they know, but maybe it's a coincidence. Maybe they know Tommy, but their motto, the first thing you see when you open up their website, is a hand up, not a handout. And they've got a really beautiful garden and seating area with lots of information around. They go out and clip off whatever's growing too much, and that's on the menu for that day. And there are a lot of properties right here in Boulder Creek that are so sad. They've been burned to the ground, and people that own them have plenty of money, and, you know, they don't take, you know, reasonable offers to rebuild, for rebuilding. And plus, you know, they're red tagged, and now there's a lot of, you know, red tape around fixing some of these places. So one of them, there's actually like four that I really have in mind. One is owned by our municipal water company here in San Lorenzo Valley, which is what Boulder Creek is part of, the Santa Cruz Mountains. They thought that they could build and put their offices and everything there, and I don't know why it couldn't work for them, but it couldn't. And it's one of their little sticks. You know, one of the things that bothers them is that the person that went behind their back and bought it way over value, which, you know, the guy who used to own it sold he sold old bathtubs and windows, and, you know, just he was like a refurbished kind of a guy. So he's a really good at negotiating. So he got a good deal, and they didn't, and they want to get rid of it. And it's a beautiful, I don't know, maybe an acre. And I thought maybe we could put a Foco Cafe kind of a situation there. There is a fellow here, we call him Chef Eric, and he has Boulder Creek Feed the People night on Friday nights that he does over at the Oddfellows Club. Well, now he's shut down, but I think this is another thing that I proposed. If we could get him funding and maybe get him opened up feeding people again by donation, or you know, if you don't have anything, then he would feed you for free. If we could get him doing takeout every night, doing the same thing, and eventually get him that lot for the Foco Cafe, I think he would be delighted. And we have an old brewery that burnt down, I think about 13 or 14 years ago, and people loved the brewery. And the person who ran it, she rented it, and she did everything to keep her crew together. She did like outdoor venues, anything that would come up, they would show up and be catering at the outdoor venue, the festival or whatever. And then they rented a tiny little spot in a corner in Boulder Creek and served sandwiches and beer. And now they've got a nice little spot that they're renting down the road a bit, but they are wildly busy. and I think it would be wonderful to be able to procure the old brewery spot for them and rebuild it, and give it to her on the contingent that it's all of these on contingency that they're cooperative. So we know people that are farming. So there's properties for farming. There's I'd like to do a community garden in the old peach tree lot, which is something that burned down like 30 plus years ago. And it's been up for sale for $270,000, which is like a lot for nothing, except it is zoned for a restaurant. It's got, electrical available and water, but I thought maybe we put up a couple of bathrooms, and set up a nice, beautiful, community garden there. And then there's a few properties in Boulder Creek, that I thought maybe somebody would like to, that could work for tiny houses and farming. So, and it popped up a few, I proposed a few other things like that in Boulder Creek and to the People's Club.
Well, thanks, Debbie. And
Sure.
yeah, you put in a lot of work this week, I can see. I posted everything you just mentioned. I posted at the top of the page on Facebook, and I'll transfer it to MeWe tomorrow.
Cool. It's already posted on Facebook if you just want to.
I put it at the
the
top of the page in notifications.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so everybody can take a look at it. And for the purpose of seeing how Debbie put this together, some of them have already been submitted, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and others are just
missing?
Ideas and project ideas that we need to put into some sort of a database, including all these properties that we need to, investigate for people that are in that area that can maybe go out there, talk to realtors or whatever for, when the time is right. So I mentioned
Jim,
it. Go ahead.
At first, we had put up a worksheet, right, to put things like this in. And I kind of lost track of it, or I got overwhelmed, and I just, just couldn't fathom, trying to figure out how to pop what into what.
You're right. Miriam set up Google Sheets and Google Docs to put information on there. I also have another idea. Like I've been saying, we have a website. All I have to do is contact Michael, and he can set up a database on that website that we can, give all of these ideas instead of just leaving them on Facebook and MeWe. We can transfer them to our website, and so that Thomas was the first one to mention that we need to start a database of some sort for properties, business ideas, business proposals, and skill sets from all different members that might be able to be used in the future, not just California but other states.
And groups that are doing things like the FOCO Cafe or the hydroponic gardening or aquaponic gardening, or just any kind of gardening, or if anybody wants to start saying, hey, I'd like to do something with hemp, I'd like to try making hemp batteries. Although I have a feeling there's something going on for free energy if we can untangle ourselves from this mess.
Okay, so we're going to get back to Debbie if anyone has any questions. And let's please use the raised hands tonight. We have a lot of people on. But before we do that, Willow also has put her project proposal together and is ready to submit. So if Willow would like to talk about that, and also so others can see how this process works, and it'll make it easy for the rest of us, including the entire group proposal. It'll make it easier for all of us to be able to follow the way you both set these up, and how you worded them, and I see you both put a lot of work into it. So Willow, if you're available, do you want to talk on this?
Yeah, actually, I have some questions. Thank you, Jim, for sending that the latest Zoom call with Thomas and Alan. Or I'm sorry, it's a Canadian and an American Zoom call. I haven't had a chance to listen to that, but I did listen to the prior Zoom call. And so my question is that it was my understanding is that we are supposed to purchase businesses to support our project. Is that correct? Is that where we need to go first? Because my end of it is going to take a lot of money. And
right.
So I'm thinking, do we need to focus first on purchasing projects to generate income? Or shall I go ahead and submit my proposal because it's going to take a lot of money?
In my understanding, you can submit your proposal whenever you're ready.
Okay.
And everyone else can also. If anyone has an individual project that they want to submit, feel free. And you can, just by what Debbie put on the Facebook page, you can see the work that she put into this. And Willow also has done the same thing with her individual project. So, like I said, you don't have to send them to me. Submit them when you feel you're ready, and submit them. And I believe Michael is on the approval board. If you have any questions, you can contact him. Otherwise, feel free.
Okay.
And at the same time, you'll help us all to put our project proposal together.
Okay. So is it okay if I read it then?
Go right ahead.
Okay. So it's not that long, but I just wanted to, I wrote it out so that they would understand my thought processes and my reasoning for asking for so much money. And it's just called the People's Club. It's Proposal for Workers Relocation Housing. And the project is any eco-villages or even organic farms. So let's say that Kimberly has been able to take hold of the land in Chico, then I will need to relocate. I'm going to need housing. I'm going to need food. And so if these tiny houses were to be purchased, then that takes care of the housing, and we may be living in it for over a year or so, even longer. So it says this temporary housing project is to be provided for workers that relocate for the People's Club project in creating an eco-village in California. Housing in motels. Motels to house each workers and reasonable and monetary expenses. I had the need to stay at a motel for 1 month to recover from food poisoning in January 2020. For my 1 month stay, I paid over $1,200. And I couldn't even cook my own food. So food was even double in cost for that month. Housing in tents. Tent living is not only inconvenient, the elements of weather can be very uncomfortable in cold nights and winter months. Tiny bedrooms on trailers with wheels. I thought that this was the most reasonable way to house workers on a temporary basis. A tiny bedroom on wheels will not need a foundation on the ground to stand on. The 20 by 8.5 feet bedroom trailer can be moved on the property by a hitch on a truck. We may be living in the tiny bedrooms for at least a year. Once someone moves into an eco home, The tiny bedroom can be used for another worker or as a shed or storage unit. Tiny bedroom furniture. Upon arrival, if workers come without their personal furniture, someone like me, a tiny bedroom will be supplied with freestanding furniture. If the bedroom is no longer needed, the tiny bedroom can be used as a shed or storage unit. I have contacted furniture makers to make a set of 9 pieces of furniture. 3 cabinets for blankets and bedding will be placed under the box frame and the mattress. A nightstand, 1 table, 1 chair, a set of drawers for clothes, a set of shelves, 1 cabinet for food storage. The furniture will be made with natural materials to minimize off-gassing of chemicals. The Eco Village worker that receives a home has the option to take the furniture from their tiny bedroom to their new Eco home if desired. Rather than supporting big corporations to purchase the furniture, I chose to support master craftsmen of furniture makers. Construction of tiny bedrooms. The trailer on wheels is 8.5 feet wide and 20 feet long. The bedroom will have 4-foot storage area for a bicycle with a door. Let's see. The room for the bedroom will be 14 feet area with a door and a window, and 2 feet small porch. It's like a cove for boots and raincoats. Structure will have slanted roof for drainage of water. Bedroom will not be supplied with electricity. Candles or flashlight will be used for lighting. This will cut down the cost in construction. Perhaps new technology of a lamp will be available at some point. No restroom facility, no toilet or shower in a tiny bedroom. A set of a shower and a toilet on a trailer is being considered. I have contacted a porta potty company that can remove the waste. The bedroom will be insulated with hemp insulation in ceiling, walls, and floor for warmth of the structure. Bedroom walls will be of natural wood, conditioned with natural oil, not toxic chemical paint. A template for the People's Club website. I will provide a template for all those that I worked with on this project for the People's Club website. Through their work, I will be able to recommend their work and costs involved. This template will save much time for the People's Club member and the furniture maker and the tiny bedroom company for any purchase in the future. I am hoping that some of the tiny bedroom builders or furniture makers will consider teaching apprentices in the People's Club or join the People's Club as a co-op. So the only thing I need to do now is pull the numbers with the trailer company, the furniture company, and what it will cost for the bedding, and then it's ready for submission.
Thank you, Willow.
You're welcome.
Great job. As you can see, Willow's been very specific, and I think that they're going to like seeing that, getting right down to it and dotting your I's and crossing your T's. So if anyone has any questions for either Debbie or Willow, raise your hand and Phyllis will bring you in.
Okay, Bill is first.
Hi, great
Hi,
job,
Bill.
ladies. That was awesome. So Debbie, I've been looking in Livermore too. I think that's a good spot. I'm going to grow some avocados. I was just going to walk outside and take a picture of them and put them on your Facebook, but we'll see how the heat out here, because I get the same heat as Livermore, and it gets really cold here and it gets really hot here. It's not like Santa Cruz. So we'll see, but if not, beets. I didn't know that about beets. That would be good. We could do beets and apples if avos don't work, but we could always try avocado. I mean, why not? I've got like 10 plants. I'm going to go put them in, or 10 trees. I'm going to go put them in my parking lot. I don't know if I can do all 10, but we'll see. And then Willow, great job as well. I've actually been thinking about that bathroom thing, because if you get a ton of these little tiny houses, I used to go camping at these KOA campgrounds as a kid, and they just had like this big universal bathroom. And I don't know how people would feel about that, but if you made it really nice, then you don't have the then it's functional to where you don't have a big truck coming in and picking up a porta potty every week or whatever. And they're just nicer, but it's something to think about, I guess. But I never had a problem with them. I mean, you could make a really nice one.
That's I have considered that, because I actually, first of all, I hate those blue porta potties. They just don't feel clean to me. And I did talk to the porta potty company, and I asked, how much does it cost to rent one of these? Oh, about $1,000 a day. They rent them to in weddings. And I thought, and then he went on about having a porcelain sink and a porcelain toilet, and I'm thinking to myself, well, we could have one built with that. The thing about it is that I don't know how far a KOA will be from any land. So that's why I never looked into that, because we have to find the land first and find out what kind of resources are available in that area. And if not, then it could be that I can get a shower and toilets made on a trailer, and then we might have to have someone come in and take out everything through septic tanks. Yeah, I did give that some thought. Also, when I was in Peru, and we had I think it was 18 people, and all of us 18 people shared 2 showers. It was in one tambo, 2 showers and 2 sinks and a toilet and 2 toilets. I mean, we did have toilets near the tambos because they were spread out throughout the land. But when we wanted a shower, there were, for 18 people, actually it was more than that, because the administration also used the facility. Yeah, all that needs to be considered. I'm just right now just trying to take one step at a time, and no one. I've managed to get, out of 4 furniture makers, I've only managed to get 1 proposal, simply because waiting on the funds. They don't, unless I'm really serious about hiring them now. They don't want to spend the time. And also, even for the tiny houses, I got 1 proposal out of 4 that actually contacted me and said they are interested. So anyway, and they wouldn't even start the project without any funding. I think it's they're asking for 1/3 of the cost. So that's where I'm at right now. So right now, I just figure things are on hold. I'm just tightening up my notes so that I can then send it out once funding comes, and I could just send it out quickly to them and ask them, or even if we have a warning that the funding is coming, then I can send it out quickly to try to get proposals and get them going. Of course, everything's going to take time. The banking, how are they going to get paid? And people have asked me. I've asked them questions. How much do I have to put down? How much is your cost? And then I try to be more, because I don't have a construction background, but try to be more specific in what I'm asking for and the reason why I'm asking for the construction or what have you.
If I could I quickly just mention, if everyone remembers, we kind of discussed this a few calls ago. Once the property is available, the first thing that we need to focus on is to put in the facilities, such as Bill just mentioned. If anyone's familiar with Parks and Recs, and they have concrete block, I believe, type structures that they put in let's say the KOA campgrounds or any of the Parks and Recs parks, and they have just what we're talking about, a bathroom facility. Some of them have showers, like on the beaches. They put them on the beaches. So once the property is available, that's the first thing we're going to have to do. If you remember, we talked about this. When you build a house, the first thing you have to do is put in the facilities, electric, plumbing. That all goes in first. So in this case, the houses will come after. The facilities are already in. Let's say we once we get the property, we also have the 3D printer at the same time. We'll be able to print out 10, 20, 30 of these bathroom facilities in a day with that particular printer. So it'll all be available, I think, before the houses actually show up.
So
Does that make sense?
Yes. If I were to relocate, where do I stay? Do I stay in a motel? Do I have to sleep in my car? This is what my thinking is.
Well, we kind of discussed that too. Again, when the property becomes available, and anyone chooses to move there, such as myself, and get to work, yeah. If I have to stay in a tent, I've done it before. I'll do it again until we get things up.
You get a nice little hotel or rent a house or something. You don't have to sleep in a tent.
Well, I'm just saying, Bill. I'm saying I don't know what's. Let's say Ken Morris's particular property, if that were to manifest, okay, there are already some facilities on that property. I believe there was some type of a house, so we don't know. We're kind of getting ahead of ourselves because, and I don't even know if that's the property that will be available. We have a number of properties coming in, so. Who's to say what's going to be available on those properties, or the property that we decide on to start with?
How do you raise your hand real quick? I haven't figured that out.
Ken, down at the bottom, if you scroll down to the bottom of your screen, you'll see participants. You click on that, and you also can click on chat if you want to say something in chat. But participants will show you where you can.
Oh, I see.
Raise your hand. See it?
All I'm saying, Bill, is to start with, if I have to go there with a tent.
Oh, I got you. I got it.
I could do that.
Okay.
To get there and to get to gather with whoever else is coming to get things up and running. It's got to start somewhere. And come on, we've all been camping. It's not that big of a deal.
No.
Okay, so go ahead, Willow. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Well, I was told that it's going to take 2 months to make one structure of the facility. I don't know how long it will take for the furniture, but it was just my thought of the cost, because just for me it was $1,200 for 1 month in the motel. I mean, you get 10 people. We're talking about $10,000. One tiny trailer structure is $25,000. You put facilities in there. You put a bathroom, a shower. I mean, it just drives up the cost of it.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Yeah, Stella, I'm sorry. You are the next person with hand raised. Go ahead.
Okay. I think it's great, the ideas, and answering to Willow, what I'm seeing is the need. So there is an urgency with this a priority. So any project, any construction, you usually have temporary something until the project is finished. Not necessarily needs to be a tent. We can probably find temporary solutions for the person who has no housing and we can implement a temporary support until the unit is finished. But we have to think big. Don't worry about the cost, because you will not have the tiny home until all these projects are going to come along. So the moment we have green light, you get the support system until you get your unit, and everything is going to start to, rolling. So don't worry about, that's nothing. I think you're going to get your temporary support. You're going to get your tiny home, and the same with everything. And what came to me when you were talking about is, okay, so for example, Debbie has the project in San Diego, and they're going to do a farming, and they need people. So because you enroll in the system, you qualify, okay, I want to do this, and I want my tiny house. Okay, and then you go and support that project in San Diego because you love San Diego and the weather and everything. So it's like a network, and the whole system is going to be supporting everything. And you're able to choose. Maybe there is another farming in Northern California, and you take your tiny house as part of the system, and you can go, and you go there, and you're collaborating. So everything has a solution. It's just we have to implement it, how it relates to the whole,
I don't want to take a tiny home with me.
Well,
this is to provide. So let's say you've got 5 20-year-olds that are come to work on the organic farm. Those 5 20-year-olds, and believe me, I've been talking people's ears off. I have a network of people that I am in contact with that understand the system. They're looking into Tommy's work. They have an interest in joining these projects. I have to check up on them. But let's say 5 of them come, and let's say they bring their friends. Are we going to put them up in a temporary hotel? What if it's September, October, when it starts to get colder? My thinking is that as a People's Club, that we should provide the housing and the meals.
But that's what I'm saying. A solution is always feasible. But what I'm saying is this: when you create an investment in a structure and people start using it, they add a personal touch.
Exactly.
So in order to the tiny house, there was an investment. It's going to be given to a person who's going to be able to use it, and is going to take care of that. It's different if you use it for 3 months because you work on a farm, and then you're going to go to another project. You leave it. It's the person who comes is not going to take care of that,
Well, I don't have any control of that. My thoughts is I just want to take care of our workers. I just want to take care of the People's Club members, and to provide a personal space and home for them.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because I know projects when you give to people, and the whole objective is to change how people do things, to put love, to put care, to put responsibility, and to embrace people to do something. Because when you create these projects, money's going to come, but our goal is to engage people and, and they start to work and do things in a different way. And what I'm saying with what they talk about the 3D printing, the 3D printing can print a modular place. They can put it together in a week just to have a dry place, warm, and you can have a temporary bathroom with not the blue plastic things. We can do a compost bathroom with even showers with solar heating water for a temporary bathroom. And if it's needed in another place, it can be reused in another place. There are always solutions where it's better to go to a hotel.
Yeah, I haven't even gone there because my plate's full already. I was hoping that someone would come up, will take a step in that direction to try to figure out how all of us are going to use a facility at any piece of land that has nothing. You know, I lived in my car when I traveled 20,000 miles across the United States. I had a window because there was no facility, and I was able to use a library or stores, grocery stores, which I had to purchase something, but I could only eat and drink within a 5 to 6 hour period. That's it. From the time I woke up, after I exercised to 3 or 4 in the morning, that's it, simply because I didn't have a facility. The facility is very important, especially if we're going to eat, especially if we're going to work.
I'm not saying
so
that is not important. What I'm saying, when you start a construction, you do the prep to start the project. And part of the prep would be we need to bring water, we need to bring electrical,
right.
We need to bring the temporary bathrooms, the place where the people, they're going to work in the facility for the construction and the farming and everything. It's a temporary housing until everything is set. Because even if you bring your tiny homes, it needs to be level the land, needs to create the common space, because you need to create a community. So you have the group of the tiny house surrounded by some trees or something, a common area, a kitchen area, and the bathrooms. They can shower and everything, and a storage for food and everything. So all that is part of the pre-construction site arrangement, so you can, do your project. But that's I can help you to brainstorm that kind of stuff to include into your project, and then you can estimate, the cost. But if you put 10 people in a temporary room before all the tiny houses, probably be cheaper than go and pay the transportation to the hotel, go back and forth, and have different rooms. Probably it's more cost effective, and people are engaged on the site, for a temporary housing. And you do it in a human way, a healthy place to, to stay for 3 months.
That's what my thought was, is to keep the community in there so they're not dispersed out there. Maybe it's because I'm 60 and I've for the last 30 years while raising my son and prior to that, I did physical work. I don't want to do physical work anymore. I am really tired. And, right now I'm doing physical work. I'm cooking 2 to 3 meals a day. Sometimes 6 hours of my time is taken up. And so I'm tired. I just want a place that I can just have my own personal space. And that's what my thought was in creating the tiny homes. And the wonderful thing, too, is that we could, these trailers could be moved just with a truck hitch. But if this is not conducive, then I'm fine scrapping it and going.
Now, I give you an idea, solution. You have these food trucks that go to festivals. We can purchase a food truck. There's just a temporary kitchen. We create a place people can sleep with some partitions divider. It's 3 months, but this is a solution. We bring it quick until everybody has their own place. But
like putting in a quick ranch house. Just have a quick big ranch house, a community center and a ranch house.
Yeah, Willow, you don't have to scrap any of your ideas. It's just a little premature. That's all.
It's conceptual. Yeah, you have a concept, and we're going to help you to develop it in a human way. And that's what I was trying to bring. For me, when people engage in this kind of project, they need to participate. They need to understand, like you said, if I work, I don't going to destroy my work. I want to take care of what I did and finish it quick because I want my place, And that concept, we're working all together to something, and you want the people, the team work and with respect to each other. And that's what community, you learn as you go.
So what you're saying is that it's better to create with a 3D printer a huge ranch house with partitions. That's what you're saying.
No, not
As
necessarily.
a community.
Not necessarily.
No.
How about all the above? You know, we
Right.
have to start somewhere. And if, let's say, the property comes available, if at the same time we also have the 3D printer available, yes, that could expedite things. And while we're doing that, we can also, you can be working on bringing these tiny homes in for another area on the particular property. You know, so we can do all the above. People can show up with their RVs, you know, like
Yeah,
for me,
and
like I said, I could come up there and set up a tent and go to work tomorrow. I've done it before, you know.
Can I
it's not
say
a big deal. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say, hey, this is an easy fix. All we got to do when we do construction and we want to move some guys from one site to another, we just roll out the travel trailers. The travel trailers come with 6 beds. They come with the bathroom, sometimes 2 bathrooms. They come with your refrigerator, sometimes 2 refrigerators. It has literally everything that you need inside of it. If we permanently purchased 2 or 3 of those, we could literally move from site to site. So say we have the avocado farms and we're in the Mendo and we need to get a construction group or a group of workers from one site to another. These travel trailers could just literally move around with them. And we don't have to 3D print anything, because that's like a waste of resource if we're going to just put up something different.
That's what my thought is too. Because if you plant a construction, you will have to move it if it was not part of the plan. And these traveling trailers with a shower and bathroom, they're over $67,000, $67,000 to $70,000.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could get them in Oregon. We could go up to Oregon and pay cash for them and get them very cheap. We could get a used one. There's extremely nice ones up in Oregon. That's where I had bought my other one, and it had 2 sub-zero refrigerators in it, and it was sleeping 6 people, and it was $25,000.
So
and we got it on a Camping World.
My thought is that well, I guess I don't know how long it will take to get plumbing and
see, that's
electricity.
The thing about these. When you have your contract crew come in, you want to be able to house them so you're not off site, you're not traveling.
Exactly.
And I'm saying I love the tiny trailers. So this is just this is just basically like a permanent construction group that could move from site to site to site, because we're not going to just be one site. We're going to be multiple sites. And maybe we need a contracting group to go to a co-op we bought in a mall somewhere. We need to rip some stuff out and put some more stuff back up. They could literally take that down there and go do that. So it would be like a mobile group that we could use like a quick fix to go from place to place. So
that was my thought exactly. It's mobile, but I didn't consider putting in the shower and the kitchen and all of that. Simply for one thing is to save costs.
Right.
The second thing is that it's just temporary.
Right.
That's what my thought is, and that we would have to deal with facility separately. I was hoping that someone could maybe deal with the facility, the bathroom and the shower.
I could do that. I could do that with my husband. He does that stuff all the time. He does utilities and he makes that kind of stuff. So that's no problem.
And then
but Estella had a good idea. Estella had that food truck. That's a great idea.
Exactly. I thought about having a kitchen created on a trailer, and then having another one created for like a dining area where people could get together and they can congregate not only to eat their food but to socialize as well.
Right.
But the kitchen I think is really important. But then again, we're going to need water. We're going to need electricity to cook.
Okay, excuse me. I'm going to jump in here in the interest of time because there are so many details we could spend another rest of the night, I'm afraid, over at this point.
Can I finish what I was saying?
Oh, okay. And then Bill Willits is next. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to add great ideas. And my input is toward the database, the list that we talk. What I like, what Debbie, you did a great job, and the ideas that Debbie brought today. When we do the database, we can put the conceptuals, and then in a sub-level would be, her project would be San Diego, and particularly that property she's talking about. So suddenly I'm here in Northern California, and I love Debbie's idea, the concept, and she's developing that, and it's a starting point for me to go and look at similar, property conditions that can apply the concept that Debbie brought into the group. So I think it's an inspiring way of people get, like, I feel, how you say it, like you feel more, you intuitive feeling, say, oh, I love this concept, inspire you. And I think that would be a great way to, bring other people, present it as the concept. And then from that concept went to, Debbie's dream or desire, and then she put her personal touch, but start from the conceptual.
Those are good points. Those are good points, Estella. Yeah. All right, Bill. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. So basically what we need to do is we need to wait until see what comes into fruition in terms of purchasing land or the projects, or so. I mean, what shall I do for now? What shall I do to use my time constructively?
What you did is perfect, but you need to understand it's a generic concept. So you describe all your elements that you want to have, but not so much the detail or go into, you need to think in abstract, because the specifics solutions gonna come when you have, I'm gonna do this in this particular, but because you have the tiny homes and you're thinking in a temporary house, and you can develop the different steps, but as a generic, not go so much into the little tiny, details.
Well, Stella, you have no idea the investment of time that I had to not only to consult with trailer people. I mean, I'm talking about, 50, 60, 70 hours worth of time of not only the furniture makers, but, with everything that I put in. And if I had to do that when the project started, I mean, you wouldn't be seeing me for a good 2 weeks.
Well,
my thought is that if I have this prepared, then if I need to use it, I just have to send an email, say, look, you can get a payment. I don't have to do all the footwork, and this is why everything is so detailed. And maybe that's a fault of mine. Is that I am.
But you're getting frustrated, and what I'm trying to tell you, don't bluff yourself. Put it all, because I've done this kind of research. Sometimes in development of the design, which is all the concept, you do the research of all the costs of what you can use, options. You put it together. Or if I go in wood, it's going to cost this. I need this account, the materials. Or if you do it with concrete panels, it's different. And then, you find another problem. You need more labor or less labor. But this is an exercise of the mind, and then you're going to choose the best option. But don't get frustrated, because this is what it takes to come with the best solution. It's a process.
I understand what you're saying. I don't think I'm frustrated. I think that I'm just trying to prepare my responsibility of my project and how I perceive it. I do think that Kimberly understands what how I'm thinking, and so I have taken on this project. So I'm trying to be responsible and detailed so that I can report to you, this is how much this is going to cost. There's no illusion that these are the bids that had come in. If I need to scratch this, I'm fine with that. I have no problem doing that. Again, they're all waiting for me to contact them again. And I said, we just have to wait until two things: the purchase of land and the situation, and then second thing is the funding. So I don't have any problem with that. It's just that I just want to be prepared, because if you tell me to go, then I could just send that email out. And I don't have to do the footwork, and then I can help in a different way, divert my attention somewhere else. So basically, the way I look at it is that, from what I heard, there are 3 proposals in Northern California, and now we're talking about Southern California. So we just have to see how everything falls. And then, but if you need if you decide you want tiny bedrooms, I just have to send an email, because I'm prepared, and then I can help in other ways. But I do have flexible thinking. I have no problem dropping this. It's not a problem for me. I learned a lot, and that's what's important. But I also want to be responsible, so that when you look at me to do something, or if I take on something, I will do it detailed, so that I can give you answers if you ask me something about my project. So anyway, that's my perspective on it.
I don't have a doubt. On the contrary, what I'm trying to tell you is like, don't put it. What I'm saying is, put it in a paper, and trust it's gonna happen, and you're ready, like you said. But what I'm saying, I feel you stress out, and I just trust it's gonna happen. But don't worry about the cost, because we are creating projects with such a high intentions that the universe is gonna provide it. That's what I was trying to say. Don't worry about it. We're gonna get the support that you need, and we're gonna create solutions, and things gonna happen.
Willow, for the time being, just keep files. Like I said last week, keep files on everything that you put together, or you could submit it just the way it is as an individual project. That's up to you. I have to admit, I did the same thing. I've told everyone, my project, I went out for 6 months and spent time on gathering information from eco-villages to be ready when the time came, so I could set this up. I have all my information. I haven't submitted it, but I have it all on file when the time comes. So that's my suggestion. And thank you both. And let's move on to Bill.
Bill Willits. Yeah.
Okay. Hi. Thanks, Phyllis. Thanks, Jim. I just had a few little suggestions going back to the toilet facilities. I think composting toilets work really well, and gray water irrigation, using that type of system. Also, as far as buildings, I just noticed that LA is building a homeless shelter over by Griffith Park, and it's a kind of a arch type design with a canvas covering, sort of a Quonset hut type thing. And that would be something we could do possibly. There's also prefabricated Quonset huts that work really well. So that's just a couple suggestions that I wanted to stick in there.
All right, those are good, very good. Yeah, I agree with you, Bill. The idea of having let's just say I don't know, is it the right term for a farm that you've got migrant workers, right? People who come in for the season to do the work and then move on to another place and so on. And they would have some kind of a ranch house or a large facility that will sleep several people at the same time. temporary kind of housing for them? Is
Yeah.
that the kind of thing?
Yeah, that would,
That's what you're thinking on the way of Quonset hut?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to clear that up.
Or just as residences for people who live there too. It's.
Well, I was thinking what Willow came up with, more of these individual bedrooms or whatever that will eventually people might move out of and go into, say, a tiny home or a regular home, would be the people who are going to live on site, not the people who are going to be traveling through, but the ones who run the place and have responsibility to do things that's their job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. For me, for example, I have a wife and a kid, so it's going to be 3 people. So I would need a residence that would be bigger than a tiny bedroom on wheels.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you very much, Bill.
Plus, I have a drum kit, so I need room for that too.
They do have trailers that could easily have 3 bedrooms, but I'll tell you one thing is I'm not going to share a ranch house with anybody. I'm sorry. I'm 60.
No.
I really need my
No,
own
you're not one of the
space.
people out there working on the farm. You said no, that wouldn't be your thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that instead of what you're talking about at all. I'm talking about as something else to go with it in conjunction. Just different purposes, different kind of living places for different purposes. So anyway, all right, we're going to go on to Ken Morris. Ken?
Okay, you got to hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
You hear me now? Good enough? Okay. Yeah, my comments, I'll make it quick. There's going to be each property is going to have a different approach, in my opinion. You've got to do perk tests for septic, if it's even allowed septic in the area. Maybe you already have septic and not. I mean, we can react to this faster than we think. I've got a good feeling of being able to react to what we need. But, there's a lot of stuff that goes with septic. The porta potties aren't that bad for single porta potties. I have seen the trailers here up north where the Paradise burned down after the Excalibur missile hit it and blew it to smithereens. Okay, there are people that are in many before they shut us down. A very, very nice 8x20s, 10x20s on wheels, propane. Got your own little skylight up top and everything, kitchen, everything that you need. We can wheel them into place, and we can react. But I think every property, depending upon its size, is going to be different. Mine already has a 3-bedroom and a 2-bath house and a septic system and a well, so I'll be able to manage stuff from there. And I'm the same way. I'm not up to working physical work anymore. I already did that. Thankfully, I've got a good body. It's been good to me, but it's when it's worn out. I'm 64. So my expertise would lie in allocation of funds, getting things moving. And when if we're going to have any problems with suppliers, we're going to buy the supplier. That was the idea that I heard. If we have a problem with any local people who might be controlled by someone else in the way they approach us and handle us and deny us in any way, well, we just buy them out. We just buy them out.
That's what they
And
do.
we need the septic system. We need wells. Now, I'm a dowser, and I'm a diviner, and I'm willing to go and just be provided my needs to get there and be fed and get back or do what I need. I can douse the wells for the properties in California. Depending upon that, if we need a company to drill the wells, we'll buy the company. And because money talks and bullshit walks. And that makes stuff move. And no ego here. When I worked in my job, I had access to, it weren't my funds, but I had access to millions of dollars. And man, when I had to make something move, man, just made a move, man. Just did it. Boom, boom, boom. Do it. Bang, bang, bang. Here's boom, boom, boom. All they want is money. Most people just want the cash and the money. That's all they're interested in. So it depends on where we're at the time, our situations, and I have full confidence that everybody will look at their individual ideas and become very comfortable with what they have. They'll have the funds that they need to do it, and we can come together and make it happen. And I can't stay for long, so that's about all I've got to say. Unless anybody's got any other questions for me, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you very much. Good points, Ken. Kevin, you have your hand up.
Yes. Okay, I wrote a couple notes down, so hold on one sec. So as far as can you guys hear me?
Smile on your brother, everybody get together.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
I'm hearing somebody else in the background too. I don't know.
Someone else is singing. Sounds like they're having fun over there.
Yeah, somebody was singing.
You didn't tell him anything about.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was Wendy singing in the background.
Okay. Anyway, so the composting toilets are really a great idea. They can work well to also fertilize fruit trees and stuff like that. You basically just you can build a little box with a bucket in it, and they have like a bucket system, and you put sawdust. Every time you make a deposit, you put sawdust on it, and then you take it out and you put it far away from, off to the side somewhere where nobody goes. And it really doesn't stink after a little while. Actually, pretty soon after you put the sawdust on there, it doesn't smell. So that is a really good idea for a property that may not have plumbing, or probably won't have plumbing. And also the septic systems are a bitch, and they have a lot of chemicals. They use a lot of chemicals. So it's actually turning a problem into a solution as far as the fertilizing factor. So that's my thoughts on the composting toilets. I think those are definitely a good solution, even long term. And then the communities, I was thinking we could have static communities. I know there might be some people coming and going, so like maybe some trailers, like Willa was saying, like have a one or two or a couple of those just for the people that come and go. But I think that we're going to need people at the communities long term, and there's lots of stuff to do during the winter time as far as like building different things around the community and working on different garden projects or what other projects there are. So I think in realizing that earth ships and straw bale houses, there's a lot of permaculture style housing that's cheap and effective that we could set up. And if we have the property, everybody could have their own little building, and it's up to them how big they want it. And we could also have rain catchment for water, and we could also have tanks that we can truck in or go out and get water and fill them up and then bring them back. So and then the gray water is a great idea as well to water our plants and water whatever we have the water for, so we don't waste anything basically.
That sounds good. Very good.
So anyway, those are my thoughts.
Okay.
Thank you for listening.
All right. The next person's hand up is Tom. Oh, I'm sorry. What was that? Somebody said something?
I said something real quick. I got to run, y'all. I love y'all. I got something else to do, and good luck. And I'll check the rest of the recording when I get done. And no offense, but I do got to run. I've got a target to run.
Be prepared for
Be prepared for the 10th of April. We're working that pretty heavy right now.
Okay, get busy. Do a good job. Bye, Ken.
What I want to add, I discussed this with Kimberly. The sense of place is very important. A home is when you have a sense of place and you feel, cozy And it's not only the building, it's what you do with the landscape, with the site. You know, even if it's flat or a hill or whatever. Well, we talk with Kimberly was to try to when we do the projects, bring this concept where we, you know, if there is permanent housing, we will bring this, how we're gonna, the relationship with the plants and the site and the water and everything. So each worker, even though you're working in a farm, but you have a sense of place, which is very important for a healthy living. And that just this is very important because we're gonna start living in relationship with nature. So I think it's one of the main points, not only, you know, you're creating a business, but we're gonna rehabilitate the land, the plants, the life, and humans living there with this sense of place and community, but everybody at the same time, they have the sacred space, which is their homes and the privacy. Anyway.
I had one more thought I forgot to mention is when we buy the properties, you guys probably or might already be thinking of this, but I was thinking it'd be wise to evaluate the property for things like springs to see if they have springs or rivers or places to put dams and ponds and stuff like that. That might be useful in the future.
Yes, that is something that when Ken found that one really big property up north there that he was excited because there was a little stream running through it. So, I mean, those kinds of things are definitely, I mean, he's a dowser, so he's good at finding water too. So that will be very, very helpful going forward. But anyway, thank you. That's important. And next is Thomas. Are you there, Thomas?
Yes, good evening. Thank you so much. Let's see, where do I want to begin? I heard the lady and the man talking about farms and growing food. Are you familiar with the hydroponic systems that Phyllis Davis has out of San Diego, California? That can grow a vast, I believe 120-foot unit can grow enough food for 16 people. I'm sort of reluctant to put anything in here because I don't want to violate any of the rules on sharing information. Is it all right if I paste the link to their website? I have nothing to do with the company. I make no commission off this. I'm just sharing this information.
No, that should be fine. If you want to do it here in chat or on MeWe or Facebook, doesn't matter either way. Oh, I see you've got it. Well, you're fast. Okay, all right, there it is. Portable farms. I'm going to ask Bill Chili. Are you familiar with this? Because Bill is interested in this kind of farming too.
Okay.
I was just about to pop it open. Is it mobile? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it's somewhat mobile. I mean, you put it up, you get your tanks and everything, and
oh, yeah, yeah. Those I love aquaponics. That's my whole thing. I don't know if I can open that and talk at the same time, but it's like what's different about aquaponics, it's like a assembly line. You don't wait for the weather. You don't worry about anything. It's you plant, harvest in 6 weeks or 5 weeks. So you plant, 5 weeks later harvest, plant 5 weeks later harvest, plant 5 weeks later harvest. It's the machine. It's like a factory. It's right. Not like, you're out there weeding and doing all this. These things it's like a little conveyor belt, and it just keeps going and going and going, and you've got fish and you got everything, and it just produces. So for like an acre, you need 12 people. 2 acres, you need 24, I guess. But yeah, they're awesome. Little ones can, feed you year round. 16 people, absolutely. They just keep going, and they produce quick. And if it rains, it doesn't matter. If it snows, it doesn't matter. If it's hot, it doesn't matter. They just keep going year round. And you can raise the water temperature if you need to.
Yeah, 6 foot by 32 foot of portable farm aquaponic systems grow table can feed 16 people. So
nice.
Now, the other thing that's the most important of all is energy and water. So in order for you to have a sustainable location, you've got to have the balance between how are you getting your energy and how are you either using that energy, storing that energy, or distributing the energy you're able to generate either by solar, which is very inefficient, or by wind. Now, I think I might have mentioned this last time, but I do work with James McCanney. He's a nuclear physicist, master of science, who's developed the JMCC wing generator. He was the winner of the Water Abundance Prize in 2018. He was able to produce 2,000 liters of water from the atmosphere for less than 2 cents a gallon. So now I was working, and still am working, with a couple of people. One is a former builder who built over 300 homes in Palm Springs. And I've identified 2 different parcels of land that are, one is like 240 acres, the other is about 360 acres. In high wind, in windy areas. The wind is blowing nearly every day. So
in Palm Springs?
Pardon?
Are these in Palm Springs?
Near Palm Springs, correct. Yep.
Okay.
Up the hill by Joshua Tree, by 29 Palms.
Yeah.
So, but the most important issues facing mankind is energy and water. If you don't have energy and you don't have water, you can't get anything done. If you have energy and water, you can solve a lot of the problems of the world. So I put that, I put that link to JMCC wing generator in there. And I believe back at the beginning of November 2019, or maybe it was even 2018, I can't remember exactly. But I put the business program, the business plan, and the white paper into the People's Club and went through the process of submitting a project. So I got confirmation the project was received, but I don't get emails from anybody over there. And so anyway, the other issue that I wanted to exchange was a device. And I have no affiliation with the Grow Farm, the Portable Farms aquaponic systems, and or this other device, which is called Grow Hive. And this is a company out of Australia that makes a highly efficient beehive that has a incredible output for nearly very little input. It's basically, you go up to the tap and you turn the tap and put your jar underneath it, and you fill up your honey jar. And for some reason, I can't find where it went.
Well, I'm glad to hear, Thomas, that you put in a proposal on that water feature, because that sounds tremendously important. And if we get some kind of resources like that, we can use those for the different farms, that would be excellent.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the wind is blowing nearly everywhere at some time during the day in the continental United States, as well as Alaska and Hawaii. Now, Alaska, where James McCanney has his research center set up, he's had a 25 unit and a 25 kilowatt and a 50 kilowatt unit. In the link that I sent you is a picture from the X Prize showing the 50 kilowatt unit linked up to 2 atmospheric water makers that he utilized to win the Technology Achievement Award for 2018 associated with the X Prize Water Abundance Contest. He was one of the 5 finalists out of 98 teams worldwide. So for some reason, I don't know what I did with it. Huh.
Well, we can certainly click on the link from chat, or you could also post it on the different pages. So
Okay.
It's your choice to.
Now, one of the other things, of course, I mentioned this before, that I'm very, very highly involved with is the whole process of the petition of remonstrance, utilizing the parliamentary process under Jefferson's rules and Mason's manuals. And I posted into the group a couple links to the shows. There has been some absolutely incredible stuff that's happened in the last 5 days since last Friday. Some of them have to deal with the Congress at the congressional level in Washington, D.C., and others have to deal with items in Kentucky, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, and Ohio. So when Thomas speaks of the intent of the People's Club, of empowering the people, for the people, and by the people, reminiscent of the Declaration of Independence, the premise of this is that, pursuant to Section 73 of Mason's manual, it basically states the people of each state are vested with the sovereign authority of each state through their elected representatives in a legislature. The fact of the matter is that we've never done a proper remonstrance into a court of justice to petition the government for redress of grievance, and that is the ultimate form of free speech, and that is also the way that we peaceably assemble to call our legislators in, because a petition of remonstrance, a petition prays something, and remonstrance has no prayer. It's basically a command coming from we the people. So when you understand, I don't know, is this a California? Oh, this is California, right? This is a California group. So real quick here, the premise under Article 1, Section 2, Article 1, Section 1, 3, and 7 of the California Constitution is very powerful to understand. The premise of this is under Article 1, which is the Declaration of Rights, which is the top thing, okay? The preamble is, we, the people of the state of California, grateful to Almighty God for our freedom, in order to secure and perpetuate its blessings, do establish this Constitution. And this is from the 1848 result of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, when the California Republic was established. So under the Declaration of Rights, we have all people are by nature free and independent and have inalienable rights. Among these are enjoying and defending life, acquiring, possessing, and protecting property, and pursuing and obtaining safety, happiness, and privacy. Every person may freely speak, write, or publish his or her sentence on all subjects, being responsible for the abuse of that right.
Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind if I speak for a minute?
No, go ahead.
The purpose of this call, like I explained to you privately, is to discuss project proposals and submittals.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so if we could stick to that, feel free to give us information concerning that. All this other stuff, it's for another call at another time, if you don't mind.
Very good. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Who's next, Phyllis?
Well, I don't see any other hands up that are new, unless somebody's raised their hand again who didn't or wants to bring up something else. Or somebody, 760, is that Catherine by any chance? 760 area code? No? Somebody's,
760 Palm Springs.
I think that's Vicky.
oh, Vicky. Well, no, I saw Vicky Evelia. She's got her, I see her name, but I see a phone number, 760-41. It's posted here. But I can't recall whose phone number that is. That might have been Catherine, but I guess not. All right, anybody else? Because I don't have any other. Oh, Estella, did you raise your hand again?
No, sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Nobody else has their hand raised right now at this point. Anybody else want to jump in here? Go right ahead.
Hi, Thomas. I'm wondering if you, by any chance, viewed the podcast of the Foundation Amana about Kim filing in the World Courts for America to become sovereign. That might help you to understand the legalese that's going on as a sovereign citizen in America.
Go ahead, Thomas. You have your hand raised. You have to unmute.
Okay, so a sovereign citizen is a it's an incorrect application of the word sovereign and citizen. There's no such thing. It's an antithesis. What we are is either state nationals, or we're American nationals, or we're citizens of the United States, or we're U.S. citizens. So anyway.
So, Thomas, I'm just asking if you had a chance to view that podcast, because I think that will give you a wonderful understanding of what Kim has done. You know, I don't want to go down this alleyway only because that's not what the purpose of this call is. But I just was inquiring whether, if you haven't listened to that Sovereign or the Foundation Amana of Must Listen to shows, that will be really helpful for you.
You said that she went to The Hague. Is that what you said?
No. Have you seen that podcast, the Foundation Amana?
No, I haven't.
Okay, go to Must Listen to shows on Think Different, the People's Club, and listen to the Foundation Amana. Okay. It's with Kim and Thomas.
Okay, but you said that they went to some other court or something like that?
They went to the World Courts. Kim filed in the World Courts for America to be sovereign. And it came through the courts. She filed it, I believe, on January 3rd, 2017, and it came through in December, and Donald Trump received the letter declaration January 27, 2018. So that might be helpful for you, but I think we probably should get off of this subject.
Well, the fact of the matter under Article 4, Section 4, we are guaranteed Republican form of government. So with that, I'll leave it at that. So now, in regards to, where did you go? Oh man, what did I do? Are you there?
We're here.
I'm here. I could post it on the chat. Okay, I'll post the podcast for you on the chat.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to find the Zoom call. What did I do?
You're here, Thomas. We can hear you.
Oh, there you are. Jesus, the screen was so low. Okay, so anyway, all right. In regards to this about projects, okay. This is a company called Earth Friendly Block. This block is manufactured out of recycled polystyrene. It's called Insulated Composite Concrete Form, ICCF. And these forms, this material is fireproof. You can take a propane torch and hold a piece of this in your hand and hold it in your hand with a propane torch with the flame right to it. And it'll not even heat up the bottom side of the block. This is a block that's manufactured, like I said, out of recycled polystyrene. And this is also mold resistant, termite proof, It's highly energy efficient and has an R rating of an excess of R46. When you put concrete inside the capsules, inside the forms here, insulated concrete form, this becomes anywhere from 7 to 10 times stronger than a conventional wood stick framing home. And the other thing of this is when you're using this block, you're removing polystyrene from the landfills, which takes about 95 to 125 years for it to break down. They really don't know how long it takes to break down, but in 2018, there was 464 million metric tons of polystyrene manufactured on the planet. So this company recycles that. It manufactured this block, and it's very easy to work with. It's very inexpensive, and they're when you build a home with this, the home won't come down. Oh, the other thing is it can withstand winds of up over 200 miles an hour. So it's a very interesting product. So anyway, with that,
I did a thesis about that in the 80s in Argentina, and at that time we developed a project for an area where you couldn't build homes during the winter. So using those blocks, we create panels.
Yep.
And I have everything, all the drawings, and it's a home with the kitchen, bathroom, and 2 bedrooms and a living, and it's like a shoebox.
Uh-huh.
And I have all the drawings and everything, energy analysis, and it's very affordable, and it can be done with the local. The only thing you need to buy is the blocks, but then you can use all the local materials and organize the production of the homes, inside a warehouse. But those also blocks, you can even build homes up to 2 levels.
You can
structurally
build up to 4. You can build hotels up to 6 stories with this product. It's rated for International IBC, International Building Council.
Yeah, but you have to do stucco on the exterior, and inside you have to do stucco or
cladding.
Wood or paneling. Yeah.
Yeah, it's called cladding. The exterior, you can you do away with 3 steps. One is the Trevec paper. The other's the chicken wire, and then the 3 to 4 layers of stucco. You can apply stucco or gunite directly to this without having to add any of those other accoutrements, and it adheres. It's like glue on paper. So there's a couple manufacturers, one called Apex Block. They're out of Oregon. There's another one called the Perfect Block out of Arizona. And this other company is also out of Arizona in Tempe. So anyway, with that, I will, the other thing I was going to say is there's a organization or a company that's working on a salt lithium battery that the initial testing on it shows it can store up to 40 times more energy than a conventional lead acid battery and or a lithium battery. I think it's 28 times more than a lithium battery and 40 times more than a lead acid battery, a marine grade battery. And the car manufacturers are looking at it now because they'll be able to go down to a battery that's less than 1 inch thick in a span of half the size of the normal battery footprint for automobiles, and they'll be able to go at 800 to 1,000 miles on a charge. So that's about it.
Okay, good points. Thank you, Thomas. All right, Debbie, you have your hand raised.
Hey, yeah, Thomas, those are great. I copied all of those. I'm gonna go look them up too, probably tomorrow.
Whoa, we're having a problem with your sound, Debbie.
Oh, let me see. Is that better? Still doing it? Still problem?
Keep going. Testing.
Testing. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's not as okay. That's all right. Go ahead.
All right. I'm going to try something else. Get off of the Bluetooth. Can you hear me okay? Is that
I can
okay?
hear you.
Okay. I can't hear you. What's going on? Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Thomas, those are great. Those are great ideas too. I'm going to go look those up tomorrow and check them out. As far as, so you can hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. The Bayer Boulevard land in San Diego there, that's 195 acres. So that if we're talking about doing like an eco village for that, we are probably going to want, if we build little rooms without bathrooms and kitchens, that's a real sure way to make sure they are temporary and people will want to move really quick. So that is really valuable for, for building, for beginning, but that's a seed. That's just the beginning. Hopefully we're going to be doing so much more than that. Like the Bayer Boulevard, even tiny homes. And there's so many, I've seen a handful of some really creative, beautiful tiny homes out there, but maybe they won't have to be so tiny either. And if we're talking about migrant camps for workers, for migrant workers, I've seen, those are often pretty disgusting situations as they stand today. I used to be married to a man whose grandfather had a migrant village, and it would be nice if they're nice, and the homes have bathrooms and kitchens at least. So just a seed, just the beginning. Who knows where we're going to go and what we're going to do, but all of these things, right? All of these things, I hope we get to do them all. So that's my 2 cents.
Very good. Thank you, Debbie. I agree with you. I'm going to say, let's just envision and not say hope. Let's say, look forward to seeing it develop. How's that?
I love it.
All right. Is there anybody else who would like to share some thoughts or has some ideas about anything? By the way, hi, Demi. I didn't get to say hello earlier.
Oh, hi, everybody. Hi, Phyllis. Just listening, thinking, and getting ideas, trying to kind of figure out where this world is going so I can either get ahead of it or follow it. I'm not sure what, but good to hear ideas and what you're up to. So I appreciate knowing that.
Thanks very much.
Okay.
Yeah, hang in there. You're in a rough neighborhood. I mean, you're in a rough part of the world right there. I'll tell you.
Well,
state.
It's interesting. It would be nice to have a helicopter sometimes to get out of here.
Right. Say, did you submit a project on doing some, say, your video research on the homeless situation?
I haven't submitted a project. I am working on this other project, which I've talked to everyone about. It's called Linkbox, and that's been doing really well. And if it gets into these other stages, I'm thinking about, do I want to get funding for this? I've kind of described it. When I get what I've got on my computer online, I'll be able to show it to you in a screenshot. I'll be able to show you how it works. So I'll get your immediate feedback from that. But I think this has a lot of potential for communications. That was something that really got me going right away. It still does. I think that people's, what is information? What can we do about it? These are things that are ricocheting through my mind. This is something that I created just kind of, out of necessity when all the censorship was going on, and I found it had a lot of uses. I think it was always intended not to be a moneymaker, but to just be something that would facilitate more communication at a deeper level, and all that. So it's pretty exciting for me. It's something I want to finish, and for its third stage, I may want to get funding from the trust because that's going to involve some heavy lifting of servers and hiring people and that sort of thing. So that's kind of where my focus is. I get really excited though when hydroponics comes up and some of the things Thomas is talking about, with these polystyrene blocks and also Stella. This is really exciting to me because and also 3D printing, because we can really begin to create a different environment. One of the things I love is Gaudi's work, in Spain. And this kind of work is he studied nature enormously. And all of his work is built on nature. I would love to be able to bring this forward into people's lives and get rid of just, this box of texture and be able to find a way to bring this into people's lives in a much richer sense. If you look at his work, it's so expensive to do now. Those are the things that kind of flowing through my mind as I'm listening to all your suggestions. But I hope to have my this link box, so I'll be able to stop talking about it and show you fairly soon. So anyway, that's where I am.
Can I add
Thank you.
something to what you said?
Sure.
My favorite book is Brave One New World. I read it when I was young, and it stayed with myself a lot. And also when I was studying architecture, we had philosophy, and we went into the understanding an artist. What is a person when it has an intention and trying to express something, and suddenly you don't know anything about the artist, and you go and you see, the object, and you're able to connect with the feeling of that person, and it's like a mirror effect, and you get connected and you appreciate what someone else tried to express. And this brings the feelings in human is one of the most wonderful things that we have, but that unfortunately, how the planet is being, running, we've been experiencing the difficult aspect of the feelings, right? So when I say the sense of place and capture, bring the art, we talk about the kids, we talk about the elderly, people say, oh, I don't want to work anymore, I'm tired, but then suddenly, everybody has a mission and a place, and we are like those supporting those systems where we bring the beauty of everything, and like you say, Gaudi, someone else, and suddenly that input of everybody brings, and people get inspired, and this is what I think is we have to bring along, like I think it was David talk about heart math. I know a lot about heart math, and I actually followed what is the doctor who she mentioned, Divenza. I listen to him a lot, and I understand the input, what he's doing in changing people's life. So when we see this project from this core where we bring in the elements with these people, they're going to find themselves and learn and be able to live happy, a person with a wife and the kids, and suddenly they're on a farm, but they have, because the trees and the flowers and maybe some walls with art, and create a little small space or medium space, because we have to think big. We shouldn't limit ourselves. And I just want to bring this because this is what it's all about.
All right. Thank you very much. I see that Tina was able to join us. Jim, do we have time to ask Tina to say hello and tell us a little bit about herself?
Please. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Tina. You have to unmute. If you want to share anything, you have to unmute. Oh, maybe maybe she's not hearing me. She's not hearing us. Oh, well, maybe next time. Well, anyway, welcome, Tina, and I hope you can join us again.
She's just chatted something if you want to check it. She's having issues with her tablet. It's on chat.
Oh, there we go. Right, you are. Oh, okay. Yeah, she's having issues with her tablet. Okay, well, thank you anyway, Tina. Hope you'll join us. Hope you'll join us again and say hello and introduce yourself.
May I?
Thomas, yes. Go ahead.
Estella, are you an architect by trade now?
Yes, but I didn't get my license. I have my license in Argentina.
Oh, okay.
But I work 20-something years in architecture, and I'm a lighting designer, actually. Right now, I work with lights. Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Right on. So, do you interface with electrical engineers?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Good. I was in the life safety business for 18 years in Southern California, and I dealt with the largest architects firms, Gensler Associates, which is huge now.
Yeah.
McGuire Thomas and Skidmore, Owens and Merrill, and all the big architectural firms in Los Angeles and stuff, and also a lot of electrical engineers. So,
for example, one of my projects is the fairgrounds in Costa Mesa, that big building, and I designed all the lighting on that, and also I was part of the team and the construction.
Oh, that's great.
And also so I kind of have experience of all the aspects, but it's like any project. Once you start working, and Willow said, you work a lot of hours, you do your research, and you get engaged again.
So you know how to do load calculations and peak and all that other stuff. That's awesome. Well, very good.
Yeah. We used to do it with calculators, and when I went to school, we didn't have these programs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. The one of the things about the schematics that we've worked on with James McCanny and myself is that he predicts that 150 megawatt wing generator will produce more electricity than 100 three-blade wind turbines and 1.2 million 400-watt solar panels.
I know, but there is a company in Southern California that they develop all the batteries for phones and different small devices. And the owner is a genius. I found the website, but then suddenly disappeared. But the concept was incredible. He developed a battery producing energy with sound. So the size of a 20 by 40, like those containers, it will power a city. So I think what's going on is, all the new technologies is being held, but I think when this change happen, we're going to have our hands amazing stuff to be implemented in these projects. And actually, talking about proposals, my idea would be I would like to work in everything to heal the waters, implementation of new electrical, and the use of the land, degrading to not destroy, just to rehabilitate the soils, and to put together all the teams, coordination, and that's what I love to do. So
James has developed a purification system, water purification system that is second to none. He does pretty well with those. He was doing like $6,000 a day in water purification sales for almost 23 days straight. You know what PFAS is? The stuff that they use at the airport?
Yes.
Yeah, that's called the forever chemical. His is the only water filtration system on the planet that removes that entirely. And that product now
But
is in the waters of nearly every state, every country on the planet.
but I want to tell you, water is special. We are 70%, or I think 70-75% water.
Yeah.
Without water, we wouldn't even have life. And also has consciousness.
Yep.
And life, water transmits emotions. So
It sure
water is a living entity. And we have to treat the water as a sacred too. There is a Austriac, how you say Austria, from Austria, a person from Austria at the beginning of last century. He grew up in the Alps and by the rivers, and he was a very observative kid, and he started to learn about behavior of water and how in the rivers, create like spirals or vortex.
Yes.
So he I have all the information. Well,
Schopenhauer, yep.
Yes, so he's the master of water, and some people develop his principle. In Australia, there is a research center. New Zealand, Australia has a research center where they do the purification of the water in a similar way a river does it with the rocks and everything. And it's all about movement and creating vortices, and basically you're reprogramming the water to be pure, like the Japanese, what's it called? Yok. I'm bad with names. Sorry. You know that the guy who proved that the water.
Yamato. Yes.
Yes, that guy.
Yamato.
Yeah. So
do you know?
I really wanted not to treat the water as the water how we do it now as an element. It's a divine water. It's what gives us life. It's infinite, and like the gentlemen talk about the rainwater, we can create ponds, we can do like this guy, like little features of water running through the land and make it special,
Yeah. You know who Andre Kawanda was?
Kawanda, no.
Andre Kawanda was the father of fluid dynamics. He was born, I think, in 1876, and he traveled all around the world looking for different places that had water that had very special anomalies to it. And he located 5 separate areas on the planet that had waters that had special properties. One was in Vilcabamba in Ecuador, one was in Machu Picchu, one was in St. George's, Siberia. The other one was, of course, the most famous one is Lourdes, France. And the other one is a place called Hunzaland, which is north of Pakistan in elevations of 22 to 28,000 feet. And he met the people called Hunza people, Hunzaland. These people, men lived to be 125, 130 years old, and women were having babies at 75 to 80. Their primary diet was glacier milk, which was the water that came off the glaciers, yak meat, yak goat milk, or yak yogurt, yak milk. And when he traveled back, and this was in 1908, that he made his first trek there, and then he went again in the mid-30s. He brought back with him these bottles of the Hunza water that were in these impervious brown bottles that were impervious to sunlight, because sunlight destroys the molecular structure of water. And he gifted it to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Patrick Flanagan, who's a dear friend of mine who just passed away on November 19th, 2019. And Patrick Flanagan was able to take his 60 years of research that Andre Kawanda did. Andre Kawanda is the father of fluid dynamics. The lift that happens when you're in an airplane and you go down a runway, and they manipulate the ailerons. What they're doing is they're taking that. It's called the Kawanda effect. It's causing the plane to lift up in the air through fluid dynamics. He also invented over 300 other inventions, one of them being a torpedo that would travel at more than 100 knots underwater without any cavitation. So when Patrick Flanagan started researching what he brought back, he was able to isolate a specific element in that water, which is H-, which has 2 extra electrons, or it has an extra electron, excuse me. Hydrogen is the #1 element on the atomic chart, and this water had 2 negative electrons. So what this does...
Thomas, sorry.
What? You went silent. I can't hear you.
You're muted.
No, it's interesting. It is interesting because hydrogen is the element. It has is very strong in terms of energy, and actually with the oxygen, the water is a healing element.
It is a healing element. It is important. I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude here, but in the interests of it's getting late, I'd like to let the next person who had their hand raised go ahead, please. Thank you. We'll pick this up another time.
Interesting, Thomas.
Yes, very much so.
Very interesting,
Okay.
Thomas.
Oh, yes, it is. Thank you,
that's
Kevin.
That's my hand. So yes, I love all your ideas, Thomas. I did one thing that came to mind was the free energy should be released when the funds get released. I believe the technology should be released at the same time. Does anybody have a thought on that?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I want to be part of that because I know that's my passion. Bring all these elements that were suppressed and bring it on aboard. It's how you call it. It's an honor to all those lives that were lost for, good cause. And I want to bring it in.
But do you guys think that, maybe if we just get the 2% fee, then maybe the technologies won't be released at that same time. But maybe, I don't know, do you guys think that they would, or do you guys have any thoughts on when they would be released? Like
when the
Tesla's
planet is free. When the planet is free.
When
yeah,
the ball
it's
is
simple.
broken.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I guess in the meantime, I guess if we get funds before that is released, then we could definitely use some of these technologies that Thomas is talking about. And I just wanted to point out one other technology that's pretty ancient, and I put a link to it in the chat, and it's dew harvesters. So back in ancient times, there's actually that still exist today. There's dew harvesters that produce like 500 gallons of water per day, and they're strategically placed like on the sides of hills. And I can't remember the cultures that have these, but I did link a modern one that's used today, and you can actually harvest a lot of water just out of the air from fog and just humidity in the air.
That's awesome.
Passively, without electricity.
Sounds great.
Ooh, don't they?
It sounds very Native American technique too, because so often in the areas they were in, they had to do everything they could to get some kind of moisture onto their crops, just help them grow.
Yeah, there's actually some back in Europe and Asia as well. I'm gonna put one more link in there. There's a really cool picture of this. It's called an air condenser, and it's like a dome-like structure that's made out of brick, and it's got a bunch of holes that let air in, and then there's like piping underneath it so it actually was piped into the town as it was created. Let's see.
Okay.
Achille Napin. It's a weird name, the place that this one is from. But anyway, that technology exists and has been used in the past. It's pretty cool.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Those are good things. I think Willow is next.
Put the link, please.
Yes, I will.
Hi, Kevin. For you asked about the newest technology. I was on the Zoom call when Kim actually came on. I think it was one of the late last year, and when she stated about the new technology, and she said that the facility is so enormous in size that if anyone that wanted to work in that facility, that they would have to relocate for safety reasons, and that they will roll out the new technology slowly, because if they did, people that work for PG&E will lose their jobs overnight. So I think it's the People's Club that's going to pick it up and then start distributing it and slowly. So anyway, I just wanted to answer your question. I have actually on my computer, I have the link. Yeah, I have actually exactly what was said. And then Thomas reported it on his own on MeWe chat. So I have that conversation. If you wanted, I could send an email to you.
Sure. Awesome. Or on MeWe if you want to message me.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Everybody, I have to go. Thank you so much for hearing me, and it was a pleasure being on the call with you guys. Can't wait to see you guys.
Thank you, Kevin, very much.
Good night.
And I'm going to sign out tonight, too. Everybody have a safe week, and see you next week.
Bye, everyone. I got to go, too.
Thank you very much for hosting this call. Thank you. Have a
Thank you, Thomas.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Thomas. A lot of ideas. So I think I will say good night and see everyone next week, I trust, and see what the interneeding time brings us. Always exciting these days.
Is Kimberly in the call?
Not anymore.
Hi, Dim.
Kimberly left. Pam J.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello and goodbye.
Yeah, really.
Night, everyone.
Good night, Debbie.
Good night, Debbie. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, Estella.
Yeah, thank you it was a really good call.
Yeah, very interesting.
Estella, this is Jacob, and I really want to say I really enjoyed your piece. And everyone, now I'm kind of on a journey coming up here, meeting some of Northern THI, and getting a little feel for them on a one-on-one, face-to-face. Now that I'm up here in Oregon, maybe another show, and would like to maybe meet up with you, Bill, Stella, to the guy Thomas, yeah. So let's all get together and exchange some numbers. Jim, I'll be in touch.
Okay, buddy.
On the ground.
Is there anyone that didn't get a chance to speak? Vicky?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I just listened mostly. It was a lot of really cool ideas there. It's just like it's blowing my mind, and I did want to know, like you say that they put up links. Is that like, would that be on the THI California page, or was that like just on this call?
Yeah, they put up links to this chat on this call. I can only think that it will be on the recording tomorrow.
Oh, okay, just on the recordings. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
You can also, if you're in your phone, are you in your phone?
I'm on my phone, but I'm on the Zoom finally. I can't believe it. But I got here late because I couldn't find the connection, because now that there's a code, I was like, oh God, I better go look for it again. So there was a code beside the password.
Yeah, the best way to do to
lighter
over
a bit. Yeah.
What is
Sean
to overpass?
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I got to mute.
No.
Did you have something you want to say, Sean?
Wait, Estella was telling me something. What was it?
You can, to overpass the password, Zoom had an update this week, and it's messing up all the calls.
Oh.
The way how I got in, you can, once you have Zoom in your phone or in your computer, you can go to the WeWe and click on the link of the Zoom, and it will open your application without password.
Oh. I'll have to try to figure
Okay.
that one out. I had a tablet that had passwords of all of my stuff, of everything. And guess what? It's misplaced and I haven't been able to find it.
No, the password is the call, the meeting for this particular meeting.
Oh, okay.
And so the way to, if you get lost because the password, just go to the WeWe page where they put the Zoom call and you click, and then it's going to ask you, open the apps that you have in the phone or in the computer, and you say yes, open, and you go straight into the call.
Okay, I'll try that. Thanks. Okay, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye too. Good night, I mean.
Good night, Vicki.
Take care.
Willow,
Good night, Vicki.
you have your hand raised. Did you want to say something?
Sorry. I did and I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Sean.
I'm sorry I interrupted you two ladies. My apologies. Yeah, Zoom had me, it just dropped on me and it had me updated. And then I came back and I forgot to unmute. Sorry. I hope everybody's doing well. Hi, Pam J.
Hello, Sean.
Hi, Estella. Vicky. Jim.
Hi.
Everybody.
You sound good. You sound good.
I'm doing a little better. I still need, both of us still need some help, hon. But I'm able to fund you for helping us. And yeah, we could use it. Things have been awful tough. Especially, you know, humans are heavy, and I'm an injured guy right now, and I'm ailing, you know. And it's been awful tough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say. I'm gonna go ahead and mute for now, okay? Love you all. I'm here in spirit.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I had a quick question.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up real bad, Jacob.
Stella or Bill, if you guys want to meet up out on the northern side of California, like I said, kind of meeting pretty a lot of guys here in Oregon and taking care of a thing or two. And, you know, like I said, it'd be great to link up with you guys, especially like now that I'm up here and you kind of really, you know, seem to get involved on the roll. And I think you really got some interesting information stuff. I mean, I couldn't sort of like could so.
You're breaking up real bad. Can you talk into your mic?
I'm in a bad service.
Yeah, breaking up really bad.
I'll give you a call, Bill. Or Jim, excuse me.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, anybody else, or you want to call it a night?
I think I'm going to go. They're calling me for dinner, so.
Okay. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Have a good night.
Thank you, everybody.
Willow.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Be safe. Be
Thank
safe
you all.
and happy.
Have a great week.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. Love you.
Time.